Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something really fascinating. We are going to objectively deconstruct the rhetorical structure and the incredible mass appeal of a wildly popular YouTube morning prayer, often called a Subaki Dua. Millions of people tune in to content exactly like this every single day. But, what makes it so captivating? How does it speak so directly to a listener's deepest anxieties? Well, we're going to break down the exact anatomy of this digital prayer, step by step, using the source transcript to really understand how it guides the listener from a state of total vulnerability all the way to a highly specific modern call to action. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to trace the exact emotional and structural journey of this source material in 5 steps. 1, the morning of miracles. 2, praying for provision and healing. 3, conquering hidden inner wounds. 4, declaring spiritual victory. And finally, number 5, the digital call to action. Section 1, the morning of miracles, setting the stage for spiritual intervention. Right off the bat, the speaker immediately establishes the stakes and sets this tone of incredibly high expectation. They don't just ease into it. The opening line literally says, "This morning is not an ordinary morning. It is the day when you are going to do miracles, open doors, and make the impossible possible." It instantly frames the listener's day not just as some mundane Wednesday, but as a definitive, life-altering turning point. It's telling you, pay attention because everything is about to change. The text actually uses the English phrase turning point right in the middle of the Hindi and Urdu vocabulary. It's a brilliant structural choice. It takes anyone who might be waking up with feelings of despair or fear and forces this rapid cognitive shift into a mindset of intense hope and anticipation. You aren't just listening anymore. You are standing right at the precipice of a brand new life. Which brings us to Section 2, praying for provision and healing, addressing universal human struggles. This is the second phase of the prayer, where the text strategically starts listing out these highly relatable, concrete human challenges. Now, what's really interesting here is how all-encompassing the prayer is. Once that high expectation is set, the speaker casts an incredibly wide net. We're talking crushing financial debt and a lack of provision, or risk, physical sickness, failing businesses, stalled hard work, and even broken relationships at home. It makes sure that no matter who is listening, at least one of these deep-seated anxieties is going to resonate perfectly with them. It offers a spiritual solution for literally everything, from a personal health crisis to very practical financial debt. Just listen to this translation directly from the source. The speaker passionately prays, turn lack into abundance, open doors for them that they never even imagined. It's incredibly specific, comforting language designed to directly soothe the panic of anyone struggling with money, employment, or stalled careers. Moving to Section 3, conquering hidden inner wounds. The shift from external circumstances to internal emotional realities. This is where we enter the true emotional core of the text. See, the focus moves away from physical and financial needs, right into deep psychological pain. The source material brilliantly acknowledges this human duality, contrasting looking fine on the outside with being broken on the inside. It talks about hidden tears, unspoken pain, and deep wounds. It speaks so directly to viewers suffering from depression, loneliness, or betrayal. People who put on a brave face for the world but are secretly hurting. It creates this deeply intimate bond by essentially saying, "I see the pain you're hiding from everyone else." And it doesn't just stop at acknowledging the pain. It provides explicit steps for emotional freedom. First, acknowledge the hidden pain and betrayal. Second, choose to forgive those who caused the pain, even if they don't deserve it. And third, replace that bitterness with peace and love. What's absolutely crucial here is that the text frames forgiveness not as a favor to the person who hurt you, but as a mandatory tool for your own personal liberation. Section 4, declaring spiritual victory. Shifting from a posture of asking to a posture of authority. There's a massive rhetorical pivot right here in the text. The speaker stops simply asking for help and actually begins making authoritative declarations. We get this stark contrast between past failures and future triumphs. The listener is instructed to leave behind defeat, weakness, and what the text calls satanic chains and barriers. Instead, they are told to actively claim victory, strength, broken chains, and open doors. The tone shifts from a humble plea into a militant declaration of success. It empowers the listener. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances, you're a victor over them. But here is the kicker. Despite all this intense, heavy spiritual language, the prayer surprisingly grounds itself in very practical advice. It explicitly states that blessing comes not just from prayer, but from action. The speaker literally prays for the listener to develop discipline, the habit of hard work, and the wisdom to manage their time properly. It's an amazing blend of divine intervention and personal responsibility. Let's move to section 5 and see how this builds to its climax, the digital call to action, where ancient faith meets modern algorithms. All right, here is where it gets truly fascinating. Towards the end, the speaker gives the listener a specific phrase to internalize and repeat: I am blessed, I am protected. In the source language, Mein Barkat Yaftahun, Mein Mafuzhun. It acts as a final seal of faith, a verbal confirmation that you believe the prayer has worked. So how does the speaker instruct the viewer to prove their faith? The transcript outlines exact instructions. First, believe in your heart. Second, like the video. Third, share the video. And fourth, comment that exact phrase, I am blessed, I am protected. It is a seamless integration of digital engagement metrics with spiritual devotion. Liking and sharing aren't framed as just supporting a content creator. They are presented as direct physical evidence of your belief. And the transcript drives this home with one crucial point. When you express your faith, heaven moves. Let that sink in. The speaker literally equates the physical act of typing a comment on YouTube with setting cosmic, spiritual forces into motion. If you believe the prayer, you'll comment. If you comment, heaven responds. It's a wildly effective way to bridge deep spiritual longing with modern algorithmic optimization. When you step back, it's pretty incredible. The speaker effectively took the listener from their most vulnerable morning anxieties, offered them emotional healing, empowered them with declarations of victory, and then channeled all of that spiritual energy straight into the comment section. Which leaves us with a really thought-provoking question to ponder. As we spend more and more of our lives online, how are ancient, deeply personal practices of faith and prayer evolving in the era of algorithms, like buttons, and comment sections? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.